Hello. I wanted to do a short video on how most people wire up their bus around their layout, and this is one of the common ways of the way it's done. So what you do is you have your main one of your main bus colors comes in, goes through a terminal strip like this, comes out the other side, and then what they do is they daisy chain these guys because each one is independent from each other. So by putting a wire like this, now you have other connections here. So now the one rail, you would end up making your connections to this end of the bar, and then you can repeat the same thing on the other side where you can bring in your second color, and then put your loops, and then now you have your outputs. So that's the standard way that most people do it, but I find it a bit inefficient because you lose wire connections. And what I mean by that is my method is the magic is in using a solid core wire like this. So the thing is with this one here, each wire here you're making there, you're spending time cutting these wires, tinning them, putting them in, making the right lengths, insulating, tinning each end of the wire, and so it becomes time consuming. But when you use something like a solid core wire, in this case, let's say what you see is I'll put the wire in here. The way I do it is, then you just feel that it doesn't come out the other end. Tighten the first one. So then now what I'll do is I'll end up daisy chaining the wire through. So all the screw terminals are open. Let me get the pliers to be a little quicker, a little easier, and just pull him through until he makes a nice short, it might be tough to see here, but basically see, it's all you have is that little bit of wire, as long as it's not pulling the terminal, because they're on rubber there, so it's not pulling it through over, nice and square. So, and then you pass it through on the other side. Make sure these guys are all open. Again, pull it through. So you do the snake-like version. Because the wire is so close like that, to the device, you really have very little chance of doing any kind of shorting with other things that might be going on in your layout. So, and then the last one, what you can do is tighten it. And then, so now basically what happens is on the last one, either side you can add your bus wire. So like here. So that's my in. And then that's my out. So now that was a lot quicker than doing all these little wire loops. They're all connected. And the thing is now, as you add some wires, you can put the wires. I'll put one here as an example. So you can put the wires anywhere along the chain and shove them in, either from this side, from one side, or from the other side. Or you can put it even somewhere higher up. Again, make sure the wire is the screw is loose. Obviously the copper wire we added won't fall out because it's snaked through, even though the screws are loose, let's say. So now what happens is you have wires coming out from both ends, whereas on this case you would only have wires coming out on one end. So sometimes it's more efficient that obviously you have more connections, and then the way your layouts, the wires might be coming down from the layout, it might be easier to attach them from one side and then from the other side. The other thing is sometimes you might want to use a networking wire like this. Some people use that as their drop feeders. So you would just put one end, but the thing you have to remember here is now if you continue with another, let's say this is one of your feed, and then let's say you put a blue and then becomes your other feed. Obviously, as you snake the wire through, you'll have to cut the wire, the solid copper wire between. They can't be connected this side to that side. So you would just end up putting one wire here, and again anywhere along there, and then the other one would be on the other side. And then you would attach it, and away you go. So it comes out to being something like, in my case, for my bus feed, I use red and black wires. So you can see here is let me take a marker. Basically the dividing line is here, right? So there's a red and black. So you say black, black, red, red. So I have a dividing, might be upside down to you, sorry. So now I know, and then the thing is, your bus wire feed, you could have it, coming in. What I do is I usually put it in the center, and in this case I get a certain amount this way and this way. But you can always say, you can just bring in the red. The method is you can bring the red here and then have the whole bar all for red, and have a separate bar all for your secondary wire. Or you can move, you can move them up and down if you need more red connection than black connection, depending if you're, not just using it for bus feed, but also bringing power to other devices. So you can, separate them, start at any point. Have, 4 red and 10 green, whatever it is, that 10 red. So you can, black, I mean. You can move them up and down, but basically that's this is the way to do it. So like you can see here is a bus wire that I'm bringing. One side is to the black, and then the other side is to the red. So you just have to make sure that one is the bus feed, one is on each side. And again, like I said, the break is in the center. All your blacks are here. You can put them anywhere along the bus on either side. So that's the way I do it. I find it a little bit more efficient and quicker. So you're using up more, you have more places to make your wire connections, and you're spending less time making those little loops. And then I attach it with the little screws over here. Let me see if I have the number. Oh yeah, they're let me see, number 4 3/4 inch screws is what I'm using, wood screws, 3/64 of an inch. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.